Is the real estate market crash here? Well, it's a good question. Now, some will say that challenges are ahead, especially with revenue growth down. And I'm not even talking about the vacant, desolate, deserted development that I'm about to show you more of here in just a second. I'm actually talking about Carvana, because Carvana was on the list of companies that were likely to face extreme challenges, bankruptcy, ultimately going out of business. Revenues are down, challenges are ahead. And these will have impacts and affect other industries and other markets like real estate. Cool little truck, huh? That's what they deliver your new Carvana on, just like the commercials. And here's my old Carvana with all its dirtiness. And we haven't seen a car wash in weeks. And actually, she's been sitting parked for a few days because we were on a cruise ship to Cozumel. They actually have three trucks. So they got this tow truck company. They got this other flatbed here. And then they've got the Carvana branded flatbed. You can't see it past this Chevy Equinox. But I wonder if the other tow truck, and I wanted the green one, or maybe even this white one, or maybe part of a Carvana repossession program. I got to check on that, because I wonder if you finance, I got to see, can you finance a vehicle through Carvana? And if so, if you can finance a vehicle through Carvana and then you can't pay for it, does then Carvana come back and repossess their vehicle? But odds are they probably don't want to do it in a way where it's branded Carvana on the side. So they'll use these plain white non-brand trucks, or even hire third-party towing companies. Or maybe they just don't have the fleet available to pick up all the repos that they need, so they have to do it this way. Now, I'm just going to bring you guys a quick video, because we are supposed to be heading out here in just a moment, and Michelle wanted to take a nap. She's not feeling 100%, but look at all these tow trucks, or these flatbeds. Oh, so that one says Carvana on the front. That one says Carvana on the front. The other ones just say Isuzu. They just say Isuzu. So now I'm kind of curious, are they really delivering that many vehicles? The little car vending machine doesn't seem to be very full. There aren't many vehicles in there, which is kind of strange, because the availability, like the difference today compared to a year ago, 18 months ago, 24 months ago, 2 years ago, we don't have the supply chain issues that we used to have. So I really can't believe that they don't have that vending machine full all the way up, because there should be plenty of cars, an abundance of cars to put in there. Oh, okay, my bad. I misspoke. I said BRZ, but that's an FRS because it's a Toyota. Actually, it's a Toyota GR86. My bad. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I feel some kind of way when I tell you, when I misspeak. So forgive me if I correct myself, because I prefer to provide accurate information and call things what they truly are. And if I don't know something, I will be sure to tell you I don't know. So I don't know if you can finance directly through Carvana. And I don't know that if you do, if Carvana repossesses their own vehicles that, you know, they have liens on. I don't know that for a fact. And I'm saying it for you, but I'm also saying it for me so that I can remember later when I go back to this video. It'll be like a mental note to myself to double check so that I can know, number one, I can know and speak confidently and intelligently about that very situation, but also so you guys know, because I think it's really important that we all have a better understanding for what's happening around us in our economy, and you know what could potentially happen, so we don't get caught off guard or blindsided because, you know, I didn't know isn't a viable option for forgiveness, especially when it comes to money and borrowing money and repaying loans and debts. You know, sometimes we joke about what is it? You ask for forgiveness, or ask for permission, or ask for forgiveness. So when it comes to money, when it comes to loans, when it comes to credit, you can mess it up pretty badly, pretty quickly. So I would prefer to not ask for forgiveness. I'd ask for permission for. So this is Crosstown Walk. It's part of Overlook, I think. It looks like this is a pretty nice looking community. But I'm trying to get to that developed area I showed you earlier in the video, and I thought it would be an easy find, but I'm gonna circle around this block and see if I can find an entrance on the other side here. I wonder if it was going to be, no, I was gonna say it might have been in the works for another apartment complex like Overlook or Crosstown Walk, but with the configuration of the lots, the parking, available parking, and those sewer laterals, those green PVC pipes you see sticking up out of the ground with the white caps on them, they're sewer laterals. And based on that, I don't really see it being a feasible option for apartments. Maybe townhomes, something similar to this that we see here. Like, look at this. Like, I gotta brush this bush to get back here, which sucks because it's scraping across the paint on my car. You got limbs hanging down on those trees as well. And it just kind of goes to show how no one has been back here and how long this has been like this. And I might have made a wrong turn, so. Wow, this is crazy. Like, that's all grown up. It's all grown up. Somebody cut that grass, but look at this. Wow, look at that. This is crazy. So somebody came back here and, you know, they did the grading. They got storm sewer. They got power, they got the lights, they got water run through here, they got sewer laterals set up, they got curb and gutter, they paved the roads, and then that's it. That's it. Did they run out of money? The developer probably got paid, probably, maybe, unless whoever contracted the developer went belly up went bankrupt and didn't pay the developer. I'm afraid to go down there. I don't want to go down there. Not be able to get back. I wonder how long it's been like this, and how did it get so far along? Because like as you can see here, there is no parking situation. So the parking situation was probably going to be on the street, or maybe like a driveway scenario. So odds are this is probably going to end up being a townhome community or something like that. Got some debris in the road. I hope I pick up a nail or nothing in my tire. That would suck. I got a patch plug kit in the back, so I could patch it myself and plug it. Oh shoot, I can't even go this way. I could plug it. I have to turn around. I could plug a nail, as long as I didn't have any compromise to the sidewall of the tire. I could plug it, and then I got a pump that I picked up from Lowe's to be able to inflate the tire. This is a really tight little roundabout. Like, I wouldn't even want to have to navigate that every day. I feel like you're going to curb a wheel on that. Oh, I guess this was the clubhouse. The pool. So that was the clubhouse and the pool. Got somebody's stuff over here. Huh. Got somebody's stuff over here, so somebody decided to make this their home, even though it's not really for sale. But, you know, that's what happens when these areas go vacant, when the money gets pulled out. Let's see if I can see what this sign says without getting out. Huh. What does that say? Failure to vacate. I wonder if they were evicted out of here. That would be intense. Let me see what this says. All County Sheriff Office deputies are authorized representatives to advise any person to leave these premises, including parking lots. Failure to vacate these premises after being so instructed may result in an arrest for trespass after warning. 7/21. Huh. Wow. Wow. This place went under 2 years ago. It went under 2 years ago. They're still running the fountain. I wonder who's paying for that. I wonder who's paying for that. And if the county sheriff put the sign up, does that mean that the Hillsborough County owns the property? It'd be nice if somebody came out that house. I could ask them, like, hey, what happened? What's going on here? I guess somebody didn't read the sign, because there's some clothes over there by the fountain. Maybe they're old. Maybe they've been there since 2021. But odds are we'll probably see more of this. We'll probably see more of this. I don't know what that might have been a parking lot. because everything else looks like you would have had to park on the street or something. But that's wild. See, this looks like, okay, so probably, I almost want to say like they would have like an alley. Yep, it's almost like you come in on the main road and this would be a shared alley and you'd have access to your parking, your garage behind the homes, similar to how these are set up over here. All the garages in the back in that shared alley. So that's probably what it was. So now I'm wondering if this was another phase similar to this development here, and odds are, if I had to take a guess without pulling any records, doing any research, I would say that the development started in 2019, 2020, and really it's probably in the planning phase, 2018, 2019, broke ground, got to work, cough, cough, 19 showed up, and everything was put on hold, halted. The money dried up. The banks, whomever, regained ownership, and by 2021, that's where we see this notice here, which I didn't see that coming in the first time, so apologies. By then, 2021, the notice goes up, and now here it is 2 years later, and it's still sitting there empty and vacant. Now the big question mark is going to be, what happens next? Does it just continue to be an eyesore? That was hard to say. Does it continue to be an eyesore for the area? Does it get sold? Does it get purchased by a new owner, builder, developer? And at what price? Is it a discount? Is it a deal? Is it a savings? Is it an incentive? Or is it priced accordingly so that it ultimately just ends up sitting there vacant indefinitely because no one's willing to pay the price that they're asking for, or at least not yet, and also having to pay these ridiculously high interest rates on borrowing the money. All right, so I'm gonna make this quick because one, my battery is low, and two, we need to go ahead and get up out of here and head over to Disney Springs. We got dinner reservations at Cowfish, so I know I'm not gonna be the one that makes us miss that, because I will not hear the end of that one. I guess I need to sign in to the Wi-Fi guest. But I did want to share with you guys some of this information here. And this glare has got me, so put my shades on. But, it had me thinking, because actually I came across some interesting videos as I was doing my research and looking into investment opportunities, real estate, and other things. Not only where, I could put my money to see it grow and see a return on investment and ROI, but where are others? Much like I told you guys before, what have Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Bill Gates, what are these super rich, where are they putting their money? odds are they're not putting their money in places that are going to be extremely risky. And odds are when it comes to investing in real estate and property, in real property, where they're putting their money is going to be a really good long-term investment. And if not, even potentially driven by them, as they would be first movers, early adopters into these areas, these new markets, and then use their own influence to drive other money to these areas to increase the value of their own investment, which is a big deal, folks, in my opinion, about how the money is moving. The wealth gap is widening. This K-shaped recovery is affecting so many people because U.S. dollars are leaving the country. U.S. dollars are leaving America, and they're going to real estate and other infrastructure investments. That was a tough one. Infrastructure investments in Central America, in Belize. Okay, now we just got back from Cozumel, Mexico. A lot of things, a lot of reasons why I would not really want to do that again. But I am somewhat interested in going to Belize in Central America, but it will be by plane. It will not be by ship. It will not be by boat. No, not at all. But the money that's leaving this country is going to places like Belize and ultimately driving up prices and reducing affordability. And it will soon ultimately create a similar economy in those areas, in those countries, some undeveloped, soon to be developed, creating a similar economy for the wealthiest elites, and only pretty much allow temporary visitors by engaging in short-term rental opportunities for tourists to rent only. That's it. They're gonna, and this is not just in other countries, this is happening here in America, to the point of which now we're seeing real estate is going to be a rent, lease, borrow only. I don't know what this guy's doing. He's kind of wigging me out. He's been walking this dog since we got here. It's crazy. He's been walking this dog for hours. Little Cocker Spaniel. Or maybe the Cocker Spaniel's walking him. I don't know. But this is the direction it's going. And if you don't own, then ultimately you're going to have to rent. And there may be a reason for it, okay? There may be a reason for it. The future of real estate is investment wealth for future generations, and a further widening, as I mentioned earlier, of the wealth gap, creating generational wealth through asset value appreciation, equity, and cash flow. So I'm going to call it Airbnb 2.0, because I believe Airbnb originally was designed for the consumer, but I believe that the next wave we're going to see in Airbnb is going to be strictly designed for the investor, okay? That's where Airbnb was a great opportunity for people to make money on the spaces they had. And the new iteration, the evolution of short-term rentals through Airbnb and Vrbo and all these other companies that will soon be created will be purely for the profitization of the investors, not so much for the consumer to have a place to go and travel, or the average person to make a few bucks here and there on their space. It's going to drive up the demand for real estate purchases and ownership and contracts, going under contract and even developing ground up for the sole intent of being a short-term rental option for Airbnb, to drive up the demand and interest of buyers and investors and builders, because the consumer is not going to be able to engage in that market. They'll only be able to engage as tourists and visitors if possible. Now, even in Belize, what I saw was that these lots that were available as property previously sold for like $5,000 or $10,000, and now they've gone up I don't even know if I can say that they've appreciated, but they've definitely gone up. And now they're, you know, they're more expensive. Some of them now, you may even have to make a choice and decide, do I want to buy a vacant lot in Belize, or do I want to buy a Toyota Prius? Because they're getting up to that price point where they used to be only $5,000 or $10,000. But they're going to just continuously get more expensive as time goes on, and the supply is limited and reduced, and the demand is increased by, again, those that I told you who are going to drive that market, while also realizing that, you know, this land, this finite resource, they're not making any more of, let alone some of this land being prime real estate in a destination called Secret Beach, which you can actually find. It's not that big of a secret, but eventually Secret Beach is going to be the next big name that you're going to hear throughout social media and on TV, and celebrities and stars and resorts that are going to be there. Secret Beach is where it's going to be at, which is on the the western side. If you're looking at the map, it's on the left, but it's the western side of the soon-to-be developed islands that will have access to these beautiful beaches, tropical climates, and gorgeous sunsets, with which will command a premium. So the prices are going up. Large brands are already staking their claim, like Hilton, Remax, private investors, the elites, the super rich, the wealthy, professionals, influencers, attracting money now due to the low cost of entry and extremely reasonable carrying costs, which we've lost sight of that here in the U.S. Quite possibly a good reason why so many people are leaving, not just Florida, as we are currently in Brandon, Tampa, soon to be Orlando, and then heading back to Okaloosa County, but the entire country for that matter. People are leaving. Property taxes in Belize are based on the value of the undeveloped land in the range of about $150 a year. Property taxes, $150 a year. And this is despite the mansions and luxury villas that people are going to be building or have already built on the land, and any other improvements like pools or whatever it may be. Property taxes are $150 a year. Already very enticing for U.S. money, U.S. dollars, U.S. investors, as well as those who have simple and easy access to direct flights to Belize. So like New York, LA, Miami, Dallas, LA, I'm sorry, not LA, Las Vegas, Nashville, probably. Folks who have the direct flights to Belize, that's where the money's going to be going. These areas that have high income earners who want to get invested in real estate, and now also realizing how simple and easy it can be accomplished in different countries. Granted, there are some reports of some possible gotchas in purchasing property sight unseen online in other countries, so you got to be careful with that. But additionally, the insurance is at a relatively reasonable rate. Again, another draw to pull money out of this country and put it somewhere else, because insurance, homeowners insurance, and you know, the insurance situation, especially in Florida, is unbelievable, forcing people out to the point at which they can't afford it anymore. But all things considered, the insurance in Belize is actually underwritten by U.S. underwriters and insurance companies. So it's kind of got me scratching my head like, how can they afford to insure these properties in another country at far more affordable insurance premium rates than they can here? Something's up. Something's up. But what is the hurricane? What is the natural disaster situation like in Belize as well? Is it better than Florida? I mean, I would think that if you live in a coastal region, coastal area, you're inherently at risk. I mean, from the salt water to the high winds, the hurricanes, the possible tsunamis, or whatever it may be. Sorry, I had a little pop-up. I would think that it would probably be just as expensive, if not more. You got to think. Granted, the labor may be less expensive to rebuild in those countries, but the materials got to be more expensive. Shipping and getting things over there, unless there's a Home Depot in Belize. I'm going to have to look that up. Is there a Home Depot or a Lowe's in Belize? Makes building and construction so much easier. But yeah, why is this happening? So it's like, at a time where people are leaving, or at least being motivated to leave this country, leave certain states in this country, leave Florida, leave wherever you live to find a much better cost of living situation, a much better investment, a much better return on real estate, a much better deal, so to speak. It drives the money. It drives US dollars out of this country and puts them into another country. It puts them into Belize. We won't see that money come back. So as the wealth gap continues to widen, as this K-shaped recovery continues to, go off on its two separate directions and two different tangents, rich keep getting richer. That money then is removed out of this economy and put into another economy, an economy that is ultimately going to be controlled and dictated by those same people. Who will not allow it to come anywhere close to what it has been in areas like we see here, like this vacant, abandoned, ditched development. They're not going to let that happen. Maybe they're done here. Maybe they're like, you know what, we're going to move on to another country, much like I told you guys, another planet, which actually I was telling you guys on another video about how we would be conditioned and rapidly evolve as human beings to be able to survive in another planet's atmosphere. But what I didn't tell you is about the land. And I would say that much like people are looking to invest in areas like Belize and other countries, even Ireland, I believe, is giving out $90,000 roughly converted to US dollars as a grant to entice people to renovate some of these properties in Ireland. We're going to see an influx, a constant influx of money being pulled out of this country. But once they start offering land for sale on other planets, much like they offered virtual real estate for sale in the metaverse, you better get what you can while you can, okay? Now, the virtual is a little different because they can continuously make more. That's infinite. However, finite resource like land on a planet that could potentially be inhabitable, that is going to be another opportunity to get in, entry level, first mover on the ground floor. But then I got to wonder, if land was available on Mars and you wanted to buy it, that's cool. Great. But who are you buying it from? Who technically owns that land now that you would buy it from? See, that's the real question I want answered. But coincidentally, my wife was sharing with me a post that someone put up on Live Destin, I think. It might be a Facebook group or something. And people go on there and they post information, or they'll ask questions, trying to get like real boots on the ground insider intel from the people who are in the area. And we had already noticed that there was a huge amount of activity of listings put up for sale of these vacation condo, vacation beach homes, vacation townhouses that were last year before last. Florida was the state to be in. I mean, it was open, come on down, bring your checkbook, bring your credit card, bring cash, bring out all you got. Don't bring CBDC. Don't bring those digital currencies. We don't take that in Florida. But now the tables have turned and we're seeing a lot of activity of listings being put on the MLS, listings sitting for long periods of time, listings having huge price reductions, multiple open houses. What's happening? So somebody posted this question on Live Destin. They were like, I think it's Live Destin or Destin Locals, I'm not really sure. Destin Local sounds like a dating website, so I don't really know. But they said, hey, I noticed there's a lot of condos going up for sale in this one particular building. Any reason why? Because, I'd hate to buy a condo in this building only to realize that there's a huge problem. Well, number one, these are questions you should be asking a real estate professional in the area. And if the real estate professional in the area doesn't know, then odds are they're not who you want to go into battle with. That's just me being honest. But somebody said, no, that particular condo just got hit with a $50,000 assessment per unit. And I said, you know what? Trust but verify. Trust but verify. I said, can you just see if you can check and see if there's any validity to that statement? We were not able to find that particular condo, but we found one maybe a quarter mile away from it, where at the end, beginning of last year, they were introducing a new board to manage the HOA association, the dues, all this, that, and the other, for what was about to be a $20 million renovation. And that $20 million renovation ended up working out to being about $100,000 assessment per person or per unit. If you own more than one unit, then you're going to owe more than $100,000. And a lot of people own more than one unit. They have 2 or 3, 4 in a building because they were income properties. Okay. But now you're getting hit with a $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 assessment because you have multiple units. So what do? You decide, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm going to sell. So you put your units up for sale. Boom. There's 4 listings for sale. Your neighbor decides, yeah, I ain't feeling it either. They put up their 4 units for sale. Boom. Now you got 8 units for sale. Let it happen again. 12 units for sale because 3 people decided that they were ready to move on and go do something else. So the data, what we see and what's happening and the reasons behind it, very, very interesting. But more importantly, I began to question and began to wonder. I said, you know what happens if you don't pay the assessment? Well, if you don't pay the assessment, then ultimately they have the ability to lien your property, your unit. Which you guys probably were aware of stories last year before last, of certain communities putting ridiculous fines and fees onto people's property from the HOA, Homeowners Association, and then giving them very little notice or time, and then slapping them with liens, and then trying to foreclose on them to take their property away from them. Now, I'm not saying this is what's happening, but I am concerned that we're seeing interest rates going through the roof. We're seeing insurance literally impossible to get for some. We're seeing mandates and requirements for flood insurance, for Florida homeowners insurance policyholders who are under the I can't remember the name of the Florida homeowners insurance, the last ditch, last chance, last resort homeowners insurance for Florida. I think it's like Capital or Centennial, or I don't remember the name of it. I have to look it up. And so we got interest rates going up, insurance going up, and the flood insurance. They were making people get flood insurance even if they were on the top floor of the condo. Really? The name is going to bug me. I have to look it up. But then we've got these massive assessments coming through, okay? What is it going to do? All right, so if a unit has been overpriced because of the rapid increase in value of appreciation as a result of low interest rates and the pandemic and supply chain shortages and people just having, cheap money and wanting to buy up anything and everything they could, especially in a state that was open without restriction, without requirements of showing proof of, injections or whatever. And now they're trying to bring back down the equilibrium of the market to where they want it to be. So what they do is they make it very, very unaffordable. It's not cost effective. So we're going to make it too expensive to borrow money. We're going to make it too expensive to insure. We're going to add on more insurance than you really need. We are going to then add these crazy assessments of multiple tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then if you don't pay it, then your property will then be foreclosed on. And then we will be able to redistribute the wealth back to those who really should have had it to begin with, and take it away from those who never should have had a piece at all. So they think, so they say, and then sell it back to them at, a fraction of the cost, pennies on the dollar, and then, hit you with the fees and the negative equity, and ultimately drive many people and families to bankruptcy, some businesses to bankruptcy, to get that back where they want it. It's just a thought, just a theory, okay? While then extracting as much money out of this economy as possible, this sinking and almost seemingly failing economy as possible, and then redirecting it and funneling it to other countries, other economies, other markets that will then they'll only start at the mid to upper high levels, and then they can get that ball, they can kick that off. The ground floor on that will be, out of most people's ability and price range, especially with what's happening right now in the economy, in jobs, in people's ability to afford daily living expenses, the cost of living, things like that. It's just an idea, just a theory, okay? Which means that if, again, you have the opportunity and ability to get in on the ground floor on what could be a really great future investment, especially when it comes to real property and real estate and housing, and that could be a great move. That could be a great move, or not. I don't know. It's not financial advice. It's not real estate investment advice. It's just me sitting here yapping your ear off for 30 minutes, sitting in my car. But either way, I wanted to share that with you. Now we're going to head out. We're going to go get something to eat. Going to walk around, do some window shopping again, grab something to eat, enjoy our time together as a family, and then go back to normal. When we do get back to our part of Florida, there's some developments I want to go through with you guys that I saw on our way out. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I want to see what they're building. I want to see what it costs. I want to see what changes they're making. I want to see what incentives they're offering. I want to see what adjustments have been made. I want to see what the new plan is moving forward, because I knew what the plan was before, but the plan has changed. The plan is evolving. Business is changing. Business is evolving. The Fed is a strong driving force behind this, as well as a variety of other influences and factors. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to talk to you guys about. If that's something that interests you, then make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Make sure your alerts are turned on, your notifications. YouTube's been shutting them off without people's consent. So just make sure, even if you're subscribed, just make sure they're still on. Until next time, you guys take care. Be safe. I'll see you real soon. Bye. I think the name of that insurance company was Citizens. It was Citizens. Man, that was really bugging me.